So after today, I'm going to be entering into a phase where we're going to be going through a lot of the book from Melody Beattie called Codependent No More. I think so many people need it, but this is just a notification that it's going to be, PSA, public service announcement. But first, I'm going to start with a few other preliminary things. So dependency, like what is dependent? So the human circadian clock, I learned this when I was in Borough Manhattan Community College. In my health and nutrition class, we learned that at midnight we have the start of, sort of in the evening after 6 o'clock, when it starts to get dark, we have the greatest muscle strength and the start of melatonin secretion. So by midnight, we should have a full-fledged melatonin. And then shortly after midnight, we're the most relaxed, lowest heart rate, lowest body temperature. By 6 a.m., it starts to go up. That right after 6 a.m., maybe between 6 and about 8 a.m., we have the most rapid rise in blood pressure. And then by 10 a.m., we have the highest risk of cardiac arrest. So noon is right after the noon till about 6. We have the fastest reaction time. Not until 6, depending on what we eat and so on. But this is the natural human circadian clock. Now, some people have pushed their schedule one way or the other, but that's something we're dependent on, for example. Another thing that we're dependent on is this sort of godly wave. Like, and I'm going to speak about it in a Jewish perspective, and I hope that it is useful. But so we have this like exploration. We come out, right? We emerge. We either are going to learn skills, development, or we're going to implement and experiment. So we have these two pathways. How do we get into this emergence? Because a lot of times we're going to find ourselves crunching inward, pulling inward, feeling like we're not independent to explore. It's not safe. And this is the godly way. We would say in Judaism, we call it keter. Keter is when we're wearing our crown. We have full sovereignty, dignity. We have full rights. We're royalty. We can pause and choose whether we want to go in the exploration energy or the mastery energy. What is mastery energy? We see it come back to us. So exploration energy, we have the two paths. We have skills development, and this is like when we feel rage. This is from Rae Shagalov, by the way. When we feel rage, it's to master. So the rage is when we feel out of control, and then we learn skills. We become the control, where that everything around us modifies itself. We know in Judaism that the angels obey the decree of someone who gets above their nature. The nature being here rage, anger, out of control. So when we stay in that pause, we also have the other option, which is implementation and experimentation. We assert our power. We see, and for example, the most power we have is our inward focus. So our ability to go inward. And I want to talk about before Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is the Jewish New Year. And before Rosh Hashanah, we have the shofar for the whole month of Elul, which is the month before Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is the Jewish New Year. We don't say our sins on Rosh Hashanah. It's actually Judgment Day. It's Judgment Day. It's the New Year, but it's Judgment Day. It's the day that the first humans were born. And so the shofar is this trumpet, and this is from Rabbi Yehoshua Kaikov. The shofar is, what are you doing right now? Admit God as king. So where do we get our kingliness from, our queenliness from, our keser, our crown? From God. So when we have pure thoughts, for Rosh Hashanah, in the diaspora, we celebrate, outside of Israel, we celebrate a lot of holidays for 2 days instead of 1 day, because it's not clear whether it's which day or which day. But specifically Rosh Hashanah, we have as 2 days. It's 48 hours. We're supposed to have pure thoughts. So we don't think about how bad we are. It's not Judgment Day where we are our own prosecutor, because the prosecutor cannot be an advocate. Remember I mentioned the angels. So the angels are using our judgments on others, on us. That's why we don't want to judge people. There's a damaging animal, like it harms a human multiple times. It's a Kabbalistic idea. It's kind of mysterious, but a bull comes out for water. It says, run away. during the month of Nisan, which it's a black ox, the Satan, or the evil inclination angel, will dance between its horns and its eyes, because its desire is to gorge on the fresh growth, the newness. And when a bull is eating, it says, kick the ladder on it or run away, because we could think of this metaphorically, but like it's like, I gotta have it. It's mine. I want all the newness. And that's why we have in Judaism a lot of these practices where we give the best fruits of our offering to God, or to God's representatives, like the priests and in the temple. And then when we think about Akedas Yitzchak, the time where the binding of Isaac, this is the second son of Abraham, God made a bet on Abraham. And Isaac bragged that he'd sacrifice everything when Yishmael said he was circumcised at 13, that he felt it, he didn't move. Isaac was an 8-day-old baby when he was circumcised. Ishmael was his older brother, the first son. So Yitzchak recovered 3 years in the Garden of Eden, it says, in from the slice that actually did touch his neck. So the idea here that God bet on Abraham, it was like, would you give your most precious? And he did. So we're here to break up our desire, break open our mind. And the Satan likes to cause strife or quarrels. It gets in the way when a mitzvah has a meal. Like we say, let's say they're having a meal for a good, positive occasion. We're celebrating together. The Satan likes to come in. He's like, oh, you're making a meal? Let me get involved. And that's why we want to say Torah words or have poor people that we feed. Otherwise, there's even it says the Satan dances when the teenage boys and girls are desiring each other while they're dancing together, eating together, sitting together, because they're having desire come out. So Satan likes, whenever there's desire, Satan likes to get involved, and it's this angel that tries to bring in selfishness. And so, when we look at the Torah scriptures, it says that they're the ones that denied God or only lived for desire, they're going to come and serve the Jews, falling on their faces to be servants of Mashiach. There's going to be 2,800 servants per Jew to lick up the dust of the feet of Mashiach, who's going to lead all the Jews, lead the whole world. And the only angel at the time of Mashiach, Messiah, redemption, that will get its judgment, that's going to be slaughtered at the time of Mashiach, and the shofar will blow, is the Satan, because there will be no more work that can be done. The Satan, which causes so many to fall and to sin, will be removed. And when Hashem showed the face of Mashiach ben Yosef, Satan learned of impermanence, even as all the other angels can exist after that. So we know, wow, the angels can really, stay. And when I say things about mitzvos, we have matzah on Pesach, which is the unleavened bread. We have Shabbos day, we have a meal, we have eating in the sukkah. These are things that we do when we eat with a mitzvah. But the Baal Tosef says there's an issue with adding a mitzvah. We're not supposed to eat in the sukkah on the wrong day. Sukkah says the holiday of the booths, right? Without differentiating, or eat matzah on the day before Pesach, Passover, or have a second day of Sabbath. Like that's why Sunday is not Sabbath. It's supposed to be the seventh day, not the first day. And so on and so forth. So it's really this is about judgments. And just to take it personally here for a moment, I personally, as part of my journey, I got tattoos. And I know in Judaism it says we should not tattoo the names of the gods or when we're in mourning. And I've had to make peace with it. When I look into, all of mine are black tattoos, but when I looked into the color wavelengths, the depth penetration into the skin, the epidermis versus the dermis, black goes in the deepest, red goes in 532 degrees, 532 hertz. Then you have 585 for blue, 650 for green. And we know that when we see these colors, they have these frequencies, right? The wavelength, I think it's hertz, but I don't know. And then 1064 is black. So it goes really deeply in. So we know that in terms of the that which penetrates the deepest could look like the darkest. So sometimes what seems the darkest, or the Satan, the evil inclination, is sort of causing us to get angry. Our desire was not met and we get frustrated and we're pissed and whatever it is. That's when we know there's the chance to get penetrated the deepest with the light. We could bring the light the deepest. So I'm going to stop here now, and I am excited to share. I'm actually going to share one more quote, but after that, I'm excited for the next few days, at least 2 or 3 days, probably it's going to be. I'm going to be sharing from Melody Beattie's book, Codependent No More. And I really think that everybody can use a lot of the information from the book, and it's going to be very helpful for all different kinds of things that someone might be going through. And I think that's going to be the next phase. So the last quote I'll share today from William Shakespeare is, "This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not be fake. Thou canst not be fake with any man." So may that be the words that we live by. Be true to ourselves. We will know if we're being true. And from there we could be true with everyone. Okay, be well. Bye. Happy new month of Adar. It's the second day of the month. And have a good week.